Between 5 in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, January 25th, Lexington Police Department responded to 146 weather-related incidents. 139 of those were motorist assistance calls. That is one call every 4.5 minutes, where someone needed help getting unstuck, getting off the road, or dealing with a disabled vehicle. Here is what makes this interesting. This was not even a massive snowstorm. Winter Storm Fern hit Kentucky, and Lexington ended up with 5.5 inches of snow. The city received far more ice than anyone expected, and that ice became the real problem. Governor Andy Beshear said during a press conference that the state received less snow but more ice than expected, making recovery more dangerous. When ice is coating everything, that is when you get 139 motorist assistance calls in half a day. From 5 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon, there were 6 collisions with no injuries, 1 collision with an injury, 24 traffic hazards, and 139 motorist assistance calls. That is a total of 146 incidents, and the day was not over yet. Police Chief Lawrence Weathers had said it before the storm. The best way to prevent issues on the roadway during a winter storm is to stay off the road. The department increased staffing, put contingency personnel on standby, and placed electronic messaging boards on roadways. Officers monitored Interstate 75 and New Circle Road for stranded motorists. But people went out anyway. Before Sunday morning even got going, between midnight and 5 a.m., police had already responded to 4 traffic hazards and 12 motorist assists. By the time regular Sunday rolled around, officers were deep into storm response. And this was not a one-day thing. From Saturday through Wednesday morning, Lexington police handled 11 injury crashes, 91 non-injury crashes, 264 motorist assists, 37 escorts, and 98 traffic hazards. Days of impacts. Mayor Linda Gorton had declared a state of emergency Thursday, alongside Governor Beshear, who had done the same statewide. The city activated its Emergency Operations Center, put public safety on 24-hour schedules, and banned parking on snow routes. City officials said this would likely rank among the top 10 worst storms in Lexington's history since 1887. So what happened? The storm track shifted north, letting warmer air into the system. That is why the 5.5 inches of snow came in lower than forecast. But warm air mixing with cold air created the ice problem. Freezing rain on top of snow formed a hard layer of ice that made everything worse. Charlie Allen, the city's public safety commissioner, explained that it is much easier to move snow around than it is to remove and melt ice. Crews had to physically break up ice and haul it away. They added contractors and brought in chemical additives to make salt work at negative temperatures. But Sunday, while the storm was active, none of that cleanup had happened. Roads were coated in snow and ice. Bridges and overpasses were especially hazardous. Temperatures were in the single digits, with wind chills below 0. People kept calling for help. 139 motorist assists means officers responding to disabled vehicles. People stuck in snowbanks, cars that slid off, and vehicles out of gas. Each call meant getting to the scene, assessing, helping, possibly calling a tow, and managing traffic, all while more snow and ice fell. There were 6 non-injury collisions, where vehicles collided but nobody was hurt. There was 1 injury collision, which required ambulances and hospital transport. 24 traffic hazards included downed lines, debris, and ice patches that caused spinouts. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet had deployed nearly 1,500 plow trucks statewide, with more than 300,000 tons of salt. 12 heavy-duty wreckers were positioned to clear accidents, but extreme cold hindered salt effectiveness. Ice sticks around longer, conditions take more time to improve, and crews cannot just salt and move on. Governor Beshear had activated the Kentucky National Guard before the storm started. Guard members at 53 armories across 42 counties began making rounds Saturday, doing wellness checks and preparing for transports. 17 cut-and-toss teams deployed to areas expected to get the worst ice. By Monday morning, Kentucky had 47,123 power outages. That was down from 73,590 at the peak Sunday. Pulaski County had over 11,000 outages. Laurel County had over 7,000. In McCreary County, more than half the county's customers were without power. Over 1,300 warming centers opened statewide. Governor Beshear told people that with these dangerously cold temperatures, if your power is out, we need you to get to a warming center. Wind chills dropped to -20. 10 to 30 minutes outside could cause frostbite or hypothermia. City offices closed Monday. Trash collection was canceled. Fayette County public schools were shut down. The University of Kentucky canceled classes. The Kentucky General Assembly did not convene. Mayor Gorton postponed her State of the City speech. Everything shut down because the roads were that bad. Between midnight and 6:30 Monday, Lexington police still responded to 1 non-injury collision, 19 motorist assists, 6 traffic hazards, and 5 escorts. People were still getting stuck, still needing help even after the worst had passed. Officers kept urging drivers to slow down and watch for ice. They emphasized that salt is less effective in extreme cold, so even treated roads could refreeze. Kentucky Utilities had positioned over 40 crew centers with approximately 1,000 line technicians standing by, but weather and road conditions slowed restoration. That was the catch. Crews needed to reach downed lines to fix them, but roads were too bad to get there safely. What strikes me about Lexington's numbers is the ratio. 139 motorist assists out of 146 total incidents. That is 95% people who needed help, not people who crashed or created hazards. People were trying to drive, getting into trouble, and calling for assistance before things got worse. Maybe that is good. People realized they were in over their heads and called before causing crashes. Or maybe it shows people underestimated conditions, tried to drive when they should not have, and only figured it out once they were stuck. Police Chief Weathers had made it clear: stay off the roads. Electronic messaging boards were up. Officers monitored major routes. They did everything to communicate the danger. But 139 motorist assists in 10.5 hours tells you people did not listen. Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Secretary Jim Gray said on Monday that even if you are seeing bare pavement or lighter snow in some areas, do not let your guard down. Ice remains a serious threat, and near to below freezing temperatures this week means slick conditions can linger or refreeze quickly. Governor Beshear echoed that message, saying it is simply unsafe in basically any part of Kentucky right now to be out on the roads. All you are doing is putting yourself and other people in harm. The city ranked roads for plowing, interstates first, then hospital access, then schools, then residential. Officials estimated full clearance by Monday or Tuesday, with 48 hours of cleanup after snowfall stopped. Crews worked 12-hour shifts around the clock. By Tuesday, main roads were better. Crews worked on neighborhoods, intersections, and school routes. The Transportation Cabinet sent trucks from counties with less snow to help. But extreme cold meant nothing melted. Every inch that fell stayed until crews physically removed it. The city's state of emergency expired Wednesday morning. Downtown free parking ended, but Gorton delayed enforcing the sidewalk shoveling ordinance because conditions were still too dangerous with ice everywhere. So when you look at Lexington police responding to 146 weather-related incidents on Sunday, with 139 being motorist assists, you are seeing frontline response to a storm forecasters did not fully predict. That brought more ice than snow, that dropped the wind chill to -20, that knocked out power for tens of thousands, and that lasted days instead of hours. Lexington got 5.5 inches of snow when they could have gotten more. But the ice made it worse than a heavier snow total would have been. Police Chief Weathers Department handled it with increased staffing, messaging boards, constant route monitoring, and 139 responses to people who needed help. Winter Storm Fern was not the biggest snowstorm Lexington ever saw. but it ranked in the city's top 10 since 1887, shut down the city for multiple days, and generated 146 weather-related police incidents in a single Sunday, with 95% being people who needed assistance, not people who had already crashed.